We've got Razor's first All Black squad of 2025, and it has thrown up some talking points. Razor has made some cuts. He's also made some call-ups as well. Some bright young talent coming into the squad. This is whetting the appetite for what's going to be a mega month of rugby in July, with not just British and Irish Lions. This series between the All Blacks and France, whatever French team go over there, that's going to be pretty spicy. And that is just laying the foundations for the biggest game of 2025 when the world champion Box go to Eden Park to try and take down that 30-year record. That is going to be something else in September. Bring on the international rugby. I'll be covering all of it here on Egg Chasers, so hit subscribe so you don't miss any. Leave your thoughts down below on the New Zealand squad. What do you make of that then? And can I just firstly say thank you, New Zealand Rugby, and well done for listing your squad by position and not alphabetically. I know some other countries do this as well, so thank you for that to them. But it always, whenever you look at an international squad and it's just a big list alphabetically, you have to work out what position they are. It's a simple thing to do, but if you're thinking about fans first, that's the way to do it, the way New Zealand have there. And it shows strength. When you consider the players that will come back into contention before the next World Cup, Richie Mo'unga, Shannon Frizzell, Lester Faingo-Onuku, they've got some really good players not even picked, what you arguably dropped, and we'll definitely come on to that with guys like Dalton Papali'i and Ethan Blackadder, surprise omissions, David Havili. They've got some absolute ballers that have come in, 5 new potential caps, and a couple among them, Fabian Holland, really excited to see him, big old slice, and he's got a massive engine as well in the lock. Tavanawai, midfielder, winger, looks to be absolutely electric. Imoni Narawa will feel like he's been hard done by. Havili will be licking his wounds, but that's an exciting and another just proper like squat, powerful player. And the All Blacks have got a bunch of them, not least Duplessis Karifi, who, I mean, quads on the guy, quadzilla, and love to see him there. But like I say, there'll be some really good players licking their wounds. There are also, it has to be said, some players out injured at the moment. So in the front row, in fact, I'll go through position by position actually and talk about all of those. I'll keep it top line for the minute. I think overall, my overall thoughts when I saw this squad was, this is the kind of Scott Robertson New Zealand squad I was expecting to see last year. I thought he might have flipped the script from Ian Foster more in year 1, but he's definitely done it in year 2. And looking back, I think that makes sense. You hear this a lot. People talk about new bosses going into a business, and one of the mistakes that people quite often make is they make too many changes too early. And actually, the good thing to do, even if a business hasn't been run well, if you're a new boss, best thing you can do is just sit and listen and really understand what's going on, look under the bonnet before you make real significant changes. Maybe Scott Robertson's done that a little bit. He's taken his time. He's gone, right, year 2, let's go. Papali'i, Blackadder, you're gone. Also, I would say this is a squad of 33, so we could have picked more players, but he's gone with a squad of 33. My thoughts on that are, and you could just say, oh, that's because it's in New Zealand, and if someone goes down injured, you can easily pick someone up. And that's probably the simplest answer, and it's probably the right answer, but there is a thought in my mind. 33 players, this could be Rugby World Cup practice, like a group stage practice. Because at Rugby World Cup, you have a squad of 33. So there is a premium on multi-positional players. Just look at South Africa with flankers that can play at hooker and 4 scrum halves, but only 110. You know, they had a lot of players that could fill a lot of different roles, and that gave them flexibility with the composition of the bench. And I wonder if Razor is just trying a little bit of that out. Like you look at a glance and think there's not enough loose forwards, is there? So are we going to see the fact that Scott Barrett can play a bit of 6? Well, not play a bit of 6, has played a lot of 6. Are we going to see him there? Certainly the first thing I thought of, and I'm sure I'm not alone in this, when you see that there's only 4 outside backs, but there are 6 centres, the thought immediately goes, well, Rieko Ioane on the wing again? I mean, obviously, Tavanawai, he's played a fair bit of wing as well, so he looks definitely to be a cover on the wing. But interesting, Rugby World Cup practice, or is 2 and 2 making 5 there? Could well be. So I will go through position by position, and when I do, I'll pick like a starting first choice 23-man squad. And Do let me know what you think. So hooker, I was sort of expecting George Bell to be in there in the absence of Asafo Amua. It's Brody McAllister that joins Taukei'aho and Cody Taylor. And McAllister will absolutely be the backup for the other two. So, Cody Taylor is your boy, isn't he? At hooker. As for prop, they've got a proper stable of front rowers of New Zealand. I would think that Ethan de Groot or Tamaiti Williams. I think the form Tamaiti Williams is in, absolutely massive unit. I think he'll be loose head prop. Tyrrell Lomax tight head. De Groot and Fletcher, Newell on the bench. That is serious. And then you've got Tunga Fassi to come back in, and fair play to Norris coming in at prop. I was maybe George Bauer you might have expected to see. Anyway, second row looking fine. You've got your starting pair of Vi and Scotty Barrett. Really, as I say, really like the look of Fabian Holland. Lucy's, this is where this is the most interesting area. Without Blackadder, that says to me, Sam Penny-Finau's just got the 6 shirt sewn up. But should he? Or is the fact that there is no Papali'i, no Blackadder, and Karifi is that a signal of a different way of playing for Scott Robertson? Could you possibly go with Karifi, Savia, Satiti? I'd be so surprised if that happened. That would be kind of squat and powerful. Incredible amount of ball carrying, just wrecking ball explosivity there, but not enough balance. By the way, Savia 7 and Satiti 8, please. Razor, if you don't mind. I would say that I think this squad signals that it's going to be a 5-3 split for Razor in 2025. France are probably going to be doing 6-2 minimum, 7-1 perhaps. You've got England are going 6-2. South Africa obviously have got plenty of experiment with the bomb squad, 7-1. But it looks from that squad, tell me if you think I'm wrong, New Zealand under Razor in 2025 are going to be focusing more 5-3. And Ireland are another country that do the same thing. As for scrum half then, Roygaard is your main man. There's Fakatava outside the squad, could have come in, but I think those are the best 3 available. And Roygaard will be up for a big year. He is a serious rugby player. 10. Succession plan at fly half. Obviously, Richie Mwanga waiting in the wings over in Japan, poised to come back at some point. I was wondering whether a third choice might come in with Rehana, perhaps. Who'd you pick out of Bodie Barrett or D-Mac? If I was guessing the way Razor's going to go, I would probably say he's going to nudge towards D-Mac, but 2 great choices. No arguments there. Midfield, here we go. Now we get interesting. I think it'll just end up being your first choice is Geordie Barrett and Rico Ioane. But the question has to be asked with that squad, is he thinking about him back on the wing? I don't know. And if that's the case, but Billy Proctor. But no, I think it'll be Geordie and Rico. And then on the wings, Caleb Clark on one wing. Sevu Reece has been so good in Super Rugby this season. I would go with him, with Will Jordan at fullback. Of course, you have got that, and talking about multi-positional players, you can play all sorts of players in all sorts of different combinations. Narawa would be feeling pretty hard done by. I would imagine he's in his injury cover for Anton Linnett-Brown. Another sign that at least one of the midfielders is being thought more of as a winger than a centre. But overall, pretty impressed with that. It's strong, but 2 years out from a Rugby World Cup, you look at it and think they're really good, but they're going to get a lot better. Wallace Satiti in 2 years' time. Tamaiti Williams in 2 years' time. Roygaard in 2 years' time. These could be all like World 15 level players added to what is already some absolute true superstars. So I'd say the blackness is in a good place. Tell me what you think. We will definitely continue this conversation as the test matches get closer. It's that first weekend in July, isn't it, that the All Blacks play France, and frankly, bring it on. I will see you on the next one. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, and get to eggchasers.com and sign up for the mailing list, because there's some cool, very interesting stuff coming your way very soon. See you on the next one.